Escaping a narcissist or emotionally abusive person is difficult enough. You're battling with your emotions, what you believed to be true and what you are now finding out was a lie. You get trapped with wondering if you had done something differently, said something differently, or behaved in a different way, whether you would be in this place. And then when you start to get your life back together, you're faced with divorce. And as you detangle from them, if you haven't divorced them emotionally, this process can feel like you're going through everything all over again. The nightmares, the trauma. And it's all been designed specifically to trigger you for their amusement as they try to take control of the process. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Goddard from the Divorce Sanctuary, and on this channel I talk about healing from emotional abuse and divorcing both physically and emotionally from the emotional abuser. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're returning, welcome back and thank you. And thank you to everybody who's subscribed over the last few weeks. It's just been absolutely amazing. In my last video, I talked about the process and what you can do with the process, but I touched upon the emotions that are happening at the moment and that are coming up for a lot of people, which is the anxiety and stress. So I want to address it in this video because they play games. You got no closure, so you have just been left hanging. You might still be trying to get answers, trying to understand what happened. And if you haven't divorced them emotionally, you might still be trying to make sense of that feeling of overwhelm, trying to balance your emotions. And there might be part of you that will be willing to accept them back. Trauma bonding is horrific and it keeps you trapped. And these people are the masters of manipulation. You believe what they told you. They reminded you constantly how amazing you were, and they told you how you were meant to be together. And that nobody had ever understood them the way you did. They play the victim. And they carefully play a game and they trigger you, your responses within you. And I'm going to post a link to my video, Respond versus React. And a lot of people are saying at the moment they're experiencing anxiety going through the divorce process. And you'd expect this. It is a stressful time. But when you're going through it with an emotional abuser, it's extra stressful. A lot of people coming out of this type of relationship experience complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is the fight, flight, fawn, freeze. And you might have heard of it. The fight and flight are stress responses that happen when you're faced with a dangerous situation and you make an instant decision. Either stay and fight or run and take flight. And our brains make a split decision by scanning the area and deciding if we can get away safely or if we need to stay and fight. And that's when the adrenaline's released into the body. Fawning is a response used when a person perceives the threat. Instead of running away or fighting, they respond in a pleasing way. And they use the technique to calm down a situation, to stall the threat of the attacker, talking their way out of it, or displaying exaggerated flattery or affection towards the abuser. And freeze is the response triggered when a person can't win. They can't fight, they can't take flight, and they can't calm down the situation. Stress can be healthy, it keeps us focused and alert, but when it's experienced over a long period of time, it is very, very harmful. And I wrote another video or recorded another video about the perfectly designed email. So I'll post the link to that in the description box below. So they can get you and trigger you through emails. And they hide information in there as well. Your fairy tale has come to an abrupt ending and your Prince Charming's charm wore off. And he ran off into the woods like a werewolf, exposed by the full moon. Your fairy tale has turned into a nightmare and you were left broke and broken, picking up the pieces. And you now have to fight your way out of that dark forest and back to the safety. Like Hansel and Gretel, you might have left a trail of breadcrumbs. And as part of their game, they really don't care how much it costs you financially, mentally, emotionally, and any other area of your life. They don't care financially that the money could be going to support their children. It is part of their game. All they want to do is win. And as part of that negotiation process, make sure you've got things that you can give them so it looks like they are winning. And this, like everything else, you don't have the rules. You didn't have them in the relationship. Why would this be any different? Remember, they are masters of manipulation. They play the victim. And when they'd taken everything from you, they left. They just disappeared, taking with them the fake future that you had created together. They left you picking up the pieces, tidying up their mess. So when it comes to the divorce, you need to be very clear. Divorce them emotionally, breaking the trauma bonds. Put yourself first over everything. And if you spot the games or things don't start to add up, start questioning. And if they start playing games, not responding or missing dates, not filing paperwork, start putting conditions in place. Manipulation is a tool that they use regularly, and you will have experienced it in your relationship. Abusers are masters of manipulation. They use words to deceive, coerce, seduce, mislead you to gain power and control. And during the relationship, they kept a file on you. They understood your likes and your dislikes. Do you remember how they switched from admiring things about you and then they tore you down? The very things only weeks or months before that they were praising you for, they started criticizing you for. It wasn't just for devaluing you then, it's going to be recycled and used again. They need to win at any cost. They don't care about you, they just care about what they get out of this process. They've already decided what you're worth to them, or what you are worth that they can still take, depending on where the balance is. And so in their minds, this is a foregone conclusion. All they have to do is to manipulate you in the process and they will win. And the trigger is the smoke and mirrors, the distraction. They can rely on you being so caught up with your emotions that you'll miss something. Or it's just done for their amusement. And if they're particularly sneaky, they will time it so you have no one to speak to. And you're left overnight or over a weekend before you can seek advice. The trigger is something purposeful to distract you. But hidden amongst those statements is important information, which then gets lost. And when you question it, they point back and you wonder how you missed it. And this is why it's so important not to let your emotions get in the way. The emotions that you're experiencing due to those trauma bonds that they created. You are now worthless in their eyes. You let them down. You didn't behave in the way that they were expecting, or you missold yourself. This wasn't their fault. It was all your fault. Remember, they can't take responsibility for anything. They will use and manipulate information. They will trick you. They'll lie to their solicitor. They'll lie to the courts. They'll hide information. They'll sit on paperwork. Everything they say is a mirror about them and their behaviour. They will manipulate every step of the process and they'll tell you this is all your fault. They'll make you question yourself and they'll hide everything. And they will time everything for more impact. This is about power and control. They're always looking to validate how powerful they are. You are meant to react. So what would happen if you didn't? Breathe through it or use grounding techniques to help you. Remember, they're waiting for that reaction. What happens when it doesn't come? Start looking at ways that you can support your body and your mind through meditation, through self-care. Look at what you're eating, what you're drinking, how you're nurturing yourself. They know exactly what they're doing and it's done for a reason. You won't be their target if you don't respond. They'll get bored and they'll move on. It might delay the process because you not reacting means that there's no better quality supply coming from this situation and it won't get their full attention. But maybe that's a small sacrifice. Sit down and look at what you can do. Morning routines, evening routines, how you can support yourself. Look at ways that you respond or receive the information regarding the divorce. If you're expecting or an email turns up, can you not open it straight away? Can you go and calm down the nervous system? Do some deep breathing, some grounding exercises. Trust your intuition. Step away from social media. Create an emergency package or a disaster plan. As I said, it isn't uncommon for people coming out of this type of relationship to experience complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So find ways of calming the body down to help with the trauma. Create maybe a song list, or maybe a few different ones. One where you might be able to jump around and shake off that feeling or sing the emotion out. Have an emergency stash of healthy treats or special bath salts and a candle. A go-to grounding exercise and a healing ritual that you can perform. Inspiring quotes and relaxing music. Journal. And if you're suffering with adrenal fatigue, you might find that sleep evades you at night and you have low energy during the day. Again, creating routines that allow your mind and body to feel safe. You might find journaling helpful, or an evening routine that helps you calm the body down, helps it understand that it's getting ready to go to sleep. Creating a safe space within your home or your bedroom or a room or area. Gentle exercise, maybe a walk in nature. The purpose of a trigger is to perform an action. When you pull a trigger of a gun, it causes a loud noise, followed by pain when the bullet hits the target. As I said, when they met you, they'd worked out what you're worth to them, how easy you would be to manipulate. They created an image of you, they placed you on a pedestal, and they put unrealistic expectations of who you were around you. They emotionally abused you, and when you were no longer fit for purpose, they moved on. They know they have to go through this process, and they will make it work for them. They will want to play with your emotions. It's fun for them. It's a game. They like to feel powerful, and they like to see you in pain. Claim back your power, divorce them emotionally, and you can't be hurt as much. You won't be the target, and they will get bored, and they will move on. As I said, it might delay the process, but that could be a small sacrifice. It's also worth remembering that if you want the divorce, they will stall the process. And if you're not quite ready, they will push it through. Trust your intuition. Find a tribe who are going to be able to support you through this. Set boundaries and make sure you stick to them. And check in with yourself and ask yourself how you are feeling. And when you're doing the negotiation and you're getting stuck in certain areas, ask yourself, is this really what you want? Have your list of 3, your non-negotiables, the things you're not prepared to move on, your negotiables and your giveaways. I hope you found the video useful. If you'd like to find out more about working with me, I'll put some links below in the description box. I'll also put the links to my self-care kit and my workbook, Turn Broken into Your Superpower. And you'll be able to work through what you want from the divorce, what's really important to you. I'll also put the links to both my books, Finding Lily and The A to Z of Emotional Abuse, in the description box below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos and share them if you know anyone else that's going through this. I'm sending you loads and loads and loads of love.